And we are live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
All right, we can start that one over again.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Welcome. It is the OverChair Report.
Hello, and welcome to the OverChair Report.
I'm Tim. That's Mahoney, also known as the Badger.
The Badger.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about some Overwatch.
Yeah, lots been going on. Really fun stuff, really good stuff. Let's see, where did we last leave off with our intrepid heroes here?
We were in it was the middle of week 1 when we last did one of these. So
Stage 2, week 1, right?
Stage 2, week 1.
Yeah. So a lot has happened since then. And seeing Baptiste out on the field has been pretty fun. I would say out of teams that have been playing him, Shock has a much better mindset of when and where to use Baptiste.
They've been using him just straight with their goats, correct?
Yes. So they've been subbing him in, and kind of like what we'd mentioned when we were discussing it earlier, and I had said, hey, I envision Baptiste replacing Brigitte in the hands of DPS players, and that's exactly how Shock has been playing him, swapping out instead of the Brigitte to still maintain that AoE healing that he can provide, but giving it into the hands of DPS players who really know how to aim and get those shots on, especially when the amplification matrix comes up. They've been doing great, and they just know exactly where to position, when to wait, and when to keep going, when to use abilities. And you could see it especially on Paris when they were taking on that map. Just ridiculous amounts of control over exactly which way they're going to go, which way to get on the point, and they did it every time on that push. They had to do, of course, the 2 times at it, and they did it, and it was successful. Every time. Same exact approach, same exact timing, everything, and the enemy team just never bothered to get in on them. But yeah, Baptiste in our own matches is really fun hero to play. Enjoyable, definitely an interesting kit to learn. I think the hardest part when transitioning for anybody who's still yet new to playing Baptiste is getting used to the fact that your grenades don't do damage like Ana's grenades do.
Well, I think it's getting used to the fact that they don't heal you, because I still have this tendency
to
self-heal.
Look
At my feet and shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot grenades at my feet, and then I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, surely this will save me. And no, you got to have your own burst regen up, or your AoE regen up.
At least early on in Stage 2, and maybe this was just mostly Toronto running him, they were running him in their bunker comp. Bastion to protect their Bastion and Orisa from getting displaced. But I guess as the weeks have worn on, Stage 2 in general has kind of moved back more towards the standard goats.
It is, yeah. And you're seeing it too, even on the 2 CPs where setting up those bunker comps can be good. They're still going back to traditional goats, or they're going, crazy triple DPS to do that first point hold on 2 CP maps. I think Toronto is actually the team that taught me a lot about watching their Baptiste player and how to position Baptiste properly and really staying out of the line of sight and out of the line of action. I think a lot of players think they're going to play more like Ana and still want to do damage with Baptiste because you have the option between left or right click. When in actuality, your greatest value is sitting out of the sight lines initially and using your healing, and then using that kind of 90-degree angle you have to pepper in any damage or call outs as necessary. But watching how Toronto played Baptiste was a huge, boon just to learning how to play Baptiste.
Yeah, Neko was doing pretty good on him back then, earlier in the week, because Toronto has not been doing good for the rest
Not doing so well. You know what? Neither is Fusion. We're like half and half for this stage.
And they have to
really
play
come
the
together.
Shock.
Yeah, and they have to play the Shock. Well, we played NYXL twice in the stage.
Yeah.
Played in week 1, and then we played in week 3, and now we're up against Shock. And also, Fusion having played quite a few more matches in the beginning in Stage 1 and then at the start of Stage 2, is getting to that time at the end of Stage 2 here where they don't have many games left. So Stage 2 playoff contention for Fusion is looking to be out.
Well, they have to beat the Shock if they want.
Yes, they have to beat the Shock, and I think they still need other teams to lose in order for it to happen.
That Toronto is technically still alive, though I think they need some help, and they would also need to beat the Shock and Paris.
Yeah. Paris is looking like they can beat. Actually, Paris has been
Paris is
tanking.
looking better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They started stage 1 great, but their stage 2 has been rough.
Well, their stage 1 ended up kind of being up and down, and then their stage 2 has been up and down. They're just kind of an up and down team.
Well, their stage 1, they were one of the earliest ones to really comprehend running 3-3. You know, they were the early teams, like, they got it right away. And then as other teams figured out how to play 3-3 a lot better, their skill level just tapered off. It stayed the same while everybody else was really improving and learning and going up.
They had a weird stage 1 because they only played like 2 matches in the first 2 weeks. Like their schedule was really backloaded.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the stage 2 standings real quick here, Gladiators 6-0 showed up.
Oh yeah, they suddenly came out of nowhere. Don't worry, Valiant is the other LA team that is consistently losing.
That's right. Defiant has to play Vancouver. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the other team.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, they're 5-0. Excelsior's 5-1. Spitfire showed up again. They're 5-1.
Yeah.
Just dropped a match today. Seoul
looking
pretty good. Shanghai currently above the
Seoul has to play Titans yet. Going in, and I think they have to win that one if they want to be in playoffs, at least stage 2 playoff contention. Everything's about stage 2 right now.
They got 2 games left, so some stuff could happen. They definitely have some room. Dallas could be in some trouble if they drop this match against. We're currently recording during the Battle of Texas.
Yeah, the Battle of Texas. Where either way, Texas is losing right now.
The Texas homestand.
Yep.
Which has got a hell of a crowd there. Very hype.
Oh my God! It looks and it sounds so amazing. Like when they panned to that audience, it looks so huge and just massive area, and that crowd is loud. They're hyped, and it is stellar. Like I am stoked for I'm so happy for those fans right now. Even though like I'm not really a huge fan of either one of those teams, just because it is looking like an awesome event that has been happening there all weekend long. It's looking fantastic.
How much fun it is to watch esports live.
Oh man, really it is. It is amazingly fun. Just when you get into a room, even when we say watching it live too, it doesn't mean like I've been to the arena in Burbank, right? And that was awesome, like beyond all belief. And then I've also been out to watch parties out in Philly where they were hosting them out at the Xfinity Center out there to watch Philly Fusion. And even then, that is just awesome because you're just surrounded by people, even though you're still watching the same Twitch feed as everybody else.
Fans are just like, we know, guys.
Yeah, we all get it.
Okay. It's the same.
Yeah, we get it. We're all here. We're all here to nerd out and have some fun. And it was a great time. Like it was fantastic. And looking forward to do it again. Looking forward to going to home arenas since season 3 now they've declared is going to be traveling, and I'm looking forward to that. And just traveling around and watching games live in the arena. Like I am ready to buy my season passes. Let's go. Let's do that thing.
But yeah, I guess with GOAT still having a pretty strong hold on the meta in the pros, I'm wondering if we're about to see a big another balance bomb from Blizzard here. There's 2 weeks left, so we're at the end of week 4 right now. Week 5 will be next week, and then playoffs the week after that, and then there's the
All-Stars in the middle. Yep.
Next stage doesn't start for another like 5 weeks, so I'm wondering if in the next couple weeks we're going to see more balance changes to try to inch the pros away from playing 3-3.
3-3, yeah. I mean, certainly you could see it as, and I think smartly they're not trying to do anything to certainly kill goats. And here's
other stuff better.
Yes, and the funny thing to note is that this whole 3-3 debate is a huge thing amongst the community, especially when people always. I shouldn't say people always, and I shouldn't say all people, right? It's. I want to say that's a very.
The whole roll queue thing we talked about.
The roll queue, right? And everybody wants to complain out there about fixing the game. The loudest mouths and the whiniest, loudest mouths who have the largest audiences for some reason. They're the whiniest people. Whine about fixing the game. It's so broken, yet here they are playing it, and here is Overwatch League being a huge success, right? So one thing that we should point out for viewers here is that Overwatch did make a kind of really cool update to the game now, which is the workshop, right? So you can modify and create your own game modes and everything else. But the one thing I haven't seen from these whiniest people is doing small tweaks and changes in the workshop and then being like, hey, I'm actually going to benefit the community by trying to put out there a proposed fix to how do we modify this for 3-3. Like one of the things I want to do is play around in the workshop. One of the first things I want to fix is just make Brigitte's passive Inspire susceptible to hack. right? Because we always see Sombra as being this thing to try and go against 3-3, but it's just a modified 3-3 with Sombra, right? Well, what if you make it to somehow actually negate Brigitte's passive, which is her Inspire? I think that would be a huge way of diminishing 3-3. Right now, 3-3 relies so much on Brigitte just because she attacks and heals at the same time. Even under hack conditions, she's still healing. She's still damaging. So that one minor tweak could be a huge thing to be like, okay, you now have a direct counter to 3-3. Yes, it's all in this one hero Sombra, so now you have to counter pick to the Sombra or counterplay around and things like that. But it's the one tweak that could certainly make it a bit more viable in terms of lessening the power of goats.
Thinking about it. Because that would also, to be consistent, it would then have to hack Lucio's passive.
It already does.
It does?
Yes. So when you hack Lucio right now, it shuts down, whether he is on speed or healing, it gets shut down. It also shuts down his passive wall ride. Yeah.
I knew it shut down his wall ride. I just thought it made it so you couldn't swap between them.
No, whatever he's on is also shut down. So that actually, to bring it more consistent, is to bring Brigitte to where Lucio is, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about on this episode is the idea of limiting the map pool for competitive seasons.
Which I am all in favor of.
Yeah, it's obviously in Overwatch League, each stage they have their pool of 12 maps. They use 3 of each style, which is payload, hybrid, 2CP, and control, or
King of the Hill, as most people know. Yep.
Yeah, when Overwatch launched, it only had 12 maps in the game. There was 3 of each. But since then, with the release of Paris, it's now equal. There's 5 of each in the game.
Yeah.
And I think...
And Rialto coming out now, too, which will be another payload map.
Rialto?
Rialto is a payload map. It's been on the PTR.
Yeah, Rialto is
I'm sorry. Not Rialto. Havana. Right? Havana, the new map, yeah.
Yeah. But either way, as of right this second, they have 5 of each. And I just, like, the problem that I think we come across when we're queuing is that we generally like playing King of the Hill maps, and we never see them.
Yeah.
My feeling is, like, every night when we're on there queuing for competitive for, a few hours, I feel like I always see Rialto. I always see Dorado.
Yeah.
Like, always doing the payload maps and the hybrids.
Yeah.
Just, like, not seeing the other ones.
And never getting other ones.
It would make sense. It would give the seasons more identity if you just cut that down to 12. Like, have it be consistent with your stages of the Overwatch League.
Yeah. I would be fine if they took their seasons, actually, for competitive seasons, and made them as long as 2 stages in the Overwatch League, and then you swap the map pool in between to reflect what's going on in the Overwatch League. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with anything that gets the ladder, at least during Overwatch League season, while it's on, to be closer to what's actually being played in League and on ladder.
Yeah.
Right? I think that only benefits your community. And certainly you'd leave quick play alone, right? Leave quick play to open up to everything and just have fun. And now with the advent of the workshop and being able to play around in those kind of modes and do whatever you want, it just opens up the door for people to have fun however they choose to want to, but getting the competitive ladder locked into certain ones, I think you'd see a lot of improved gameplay, a lot of happier players having a good rotation of maps, or at least a smaller map pool, so they feel like they're not getting stuck with everything at the same time.
Well, you familiarize yourself with the maps more, and you get better at the tactics.
Yes.
And this is something when I think back to when I used to play a lot of StarCraft 2, and each season in that game, like they limited the map pool. It was only so many maps. Like some maps would carry over between seasons, but there was only like 7.
CS:GO was the same thing. A certain map pool.
When you're queuing for competitive now, it could be 1 of 20 maps. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Like 12
it's just
is
much.
Plenty. Three of each time.
Yeah.
And then you got things swing the other way when we get like, I remember like, we were doing placements. It might have been this season or the season before, where we got like every King of the Hill map like in a row.
We did. We got every King of the Hill map, and then there was another placement where we went through 10 maps and had 10 different maps, which was actually refreshing too, right?
And didn't see any King of the Hill, or saw like 1.
Yeah, we saw 1 out of the whole mix.
Yeah,
if anything.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And I know you can't do a thing where it's like, okay, well this person just played 2 payload maps or whatever, so like,
it's very hard to do with an open group, right? Yeah.
6 people. I think just the best way to kind of limit it and focus it in is just cut down the map pool for the season.
Yep.
And
Yep, I agree. And bringing it in line with the league is just more fun and engaging for everybody who's been playing. And it adds a little bit of freshness to the season as it goes too, right? Like you get to this, let's go off this model of 2 stages being the length of one competitive season, right? And halfway through you swap. Well, halfway through your season you're like, okay, they swap maps to the new map pool. Like it just freshens up the whole season. And suddenly if you notice like, okay, I've had an upswing in the end of my season, maybe you realize like, okay, I have a weakness on certain maps. And there are things you need to think about and review just about certain maps. In terms of what we do here with like content creation, discussing things, it leads to like great content discussions just about tactics on specific maps. It's kind of hard to want to look at a competitive season and say that we're going to do discussions about maps and tactics and hero picks and what works and viable, or crazy things that may not seem viable but are, when it's that many maps, right? Like just for the community as a whole, I totally agree with you that a narrowed down map selection would be great.
Yeah. Man, I just had a thought and then it like left my brain. Oh, yeah, it was the thing about Paris, because Paris has been the competitive map pool for like 2 months now. I think I've played it once or twice.
Yeah, we haven't seen it as much, and
I just have not seen it.
Yeah.
Played plenty of Horizon.
Yeah, a lot of Horizon.
Played a lot of Anubis lately, I feel like. But yeah,
Dorado especially. Always Dorado. Always Dorado. That's just because we like to make fun of Aaron for it, so, you know, whatever.
Yeah. But as it is, I'm just like, it's the new map. It's Paris. I want to play more of Paris.
Yeah, yeah. Try out crazy things. Try out something different.
Yeah, I've probably played on that map less than 10 times total, and that includes, like, Mystery Heroes and Quick Play. It's not good.
Oh, man.
You know, you miss that first week when it's, like, the star of arcade, and then it's like, what is... That was, like... Because when Oasis came out, actually, last year, or 2 years ago...
We played a lot of Oasis.
Well, I was at MagFest, or something like that, and I didn't get to see it while it was on, because it, like, dropped right before Fest, and then it ended when we came back, and by the time I was playing, I was like, oh,
there's this new map in here, and I know nothing about it. Yeah. What's going on?
The only thing I could do is, like, pull up a custom game. Like, maybe they should actually leave that in the arcade as an option. Maybe not the main option, but, like, a side option. Leave it for an extra weekend there.
Yeah, yeah. Just get your practice in.
When it's so random.
Yeah.
Like something.
When you've got so many to get through, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what is this map? What?
Yeah.
How do I play this thing again? I mean, I think that happened when Blizzard World came out. I kind of remember, like, Blizzard World was being released, and you played in the arcade for a little bit, and then, like, a week or so later, finally got a chance to play it in comp after it had already been released in comp. So I'm talking like a week or so after release. And I remember we're just like, wait, oh yeah, this is a map. Wait, how do we play this thing?
Yeah.
We had no idea going into it.
It takes a while because the pool is so big. You know, we played enough boosts on at this point. That took a while before I'd played enough of it. But it's like sometimes those maps are just like, oh right, this thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it'd be fun, I think, and like I said, good for the community as a whole to really get back to.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, that's it for this episode of the Overchair.
That is what we've got. We'll be coming at you again, of course, next time, as soon as we can. Well, we had the plans for this to be sooner, but then, of course, technology issues. Yeah. Yeah. But here we are. Anyway, we will be getting back to you folks again soon with another episode as soon as we can, and especially with more to talk about. See what happens here after the Texas Showdown. I'm interested in seeing viewer stats and things like that, and how people really took to this different approach, right? The energy from teams absolutely is great, because, you know, teams like LA have had the home crowd for a long time, right? And now they don't. Now it's the Texas teams that would have it. So it's really cool.
Valley, they actually were out there for that.
Yeah.
They actually had away games for a change.
Yeah. Oh, man. They can't even win at home, man. There ain't no way they were going to pull that one off here. Yeah. Oh. But anyway, yeah, thanks again for tuning in, folks. Also, feel free to let us know what you think you'd want to hear about next, topics of discussion, and if you're doing any cool modes in the Overwatch workshop, be sure to absolutely let us know. And we'll hope to see you guys again soon.